So for these two problems, we got the first one, which is the circumference of a circle. It does give us the diameter. So, well, that was generous of them. However, in the circumference formula, see, for circumference, we're going to take 2, multiply it by the radius, and then multiply that by pi. In fact, for this problem, we'll do both forms. We'll do it rounded, I'll round to the nearest tenth, and then we'll do it in terms of pi as well. So we're going to have 2 answers, but they're the same, just shown different ways. But the first thing we need on this one is the radius from this diameter. Well, the radius is the same as taking the diameter, and then you can divide it by 2 like this if you wanted to, but I guess this time I'll show the division. Divide by 2. So the diameter which was given was 12, so I'll replace that diameter with 12. 12 divided by 2 will give us the radius of 6. And if you wanted to, you could label that with yards. 6 yards is our radius. So I'm going to put this into the formula, but I'm going to replace the radius, with now 6. So I put this into the calculator, and I get 12 pi. So our circumference then, as of now, is showing is 12 pi. And I'll label this in yards. But this would be the answer. This is the answer. That's the answer in terms of pi. I'll have to do that later. But then we also want the answer rounded to the nearest tenth is what I'll do. So I just push the double arrow button above the enter button on the calculator, and it then tells me that the circumference is, it shows me 37.69911184. Okay, but like I said, I'm going to plan to round this to the nearest tenth, which is this 6. So it's 1 decimal place to the right of the place value we're looking at, which is the hundredths, a 9. Well, that 9 is bigger than 5, or 5 or more, which means I will add 1 to the 6. Okay, so my final answer here ends up being, so that'd be 0.7, so 37.7. I'll write this over here just so it looks a little bit more pretty, but 37.7 yards. So that would be the circumference all the way around the circle. Again, we have 2 answers here. We have the answer in terms of pi, 12 pi, or we have the answer as a decimal, 37.7 yards. So that's the first one. Next up, they say we want the area. Okay, no problem. Area formula is pi times the radius, and we've been doing it radius to the power of 2. So radius to the power of 2 like this. Now, again, on this problem, though, they've given us a diameter of 6, but what we need for the formula is radius. So to find the radius, we're going to do the same thing with the diameter. We're going to take that diameter, 6, and divide it by 2. And this goes back to kind of the vocabulary of a circle. A radius is just half the diameter, so that's why we're dividing it by 2. 6 divided by 2 is 3, so the radius would then be 3 centimeters. So I can then go into the formula for the area of a circle and replace the radius with 3. So again, I'll do this with 2 different times. We'll have the answer in terms of pi, and then I'll have the answer as a decimal as well. So when I put this into the calculator, pi times 3 to the power of 2, I get 9 pi. That's my first area. It's 9 pi, and this is in terms of pi, so that's in centimeters or square centimeters. But I'll change this into a decimal with the double arrow button, and then it says on my calculator that this area as a decimal would be 28.274 33388. So this is just what it's showing me, but like I said, I'm going to round this to the nearest tenth. So I'm looking at the 2 in the tenths place value. The 7 to its right is 5 or more, so I'm going to have to add 1 to that 2. Making this in the end 28.3. And this was centimeters, so centimeters squared. And now we have both answers, one in in terms of pi, and then the other one rounded to the nearest tenth.